A croquembouche is a classic French centerpiece for weddings, holidays, or any special occasion. A tower of caramel-coated cream puffs with a halo of spun caramel threads. It's a bit of a project, but it's a fun one. In this video, I'll show you how to build this cream puff tower from the bottom up. Before I start assembling my croquembouche, I want to make sure I have everything I need at hand. I started by baking my pâte à choux pastry puffs, and I've sorted them into small, medium, and large. Here I have my salt and sugar for my salted caramel coating, which I'll make in a minute. Here I have my 12-inch styrofoam cone covered in foil, which is going to serve as the base of our croquembouche, and plenty of toothpicks to pin those cream puffs onto it. And finally, I have our ricotta pastry cream, which I'll use to fill our puffs. You're going to want to spoon about half of this filling into your pastry bag. Twist the bag closed. You'll notice I fitted it with a 1/4 inch plain tip. And now we'll fill our puffs. To fill them, you want to poke the tip into the puff and gently squeeze. You definitely don't want to overfill these. You'll be able to feel how full your puff is just by the weight. And that's exactly why we don't overfill. Once you empty your pastry bag, just refill it and keep going. Now that my puffs are filled, I'll start making my caramel. It's important to have a bowl of ice water at the ready. You don't want to overcook your caramel. This will stop the cooking immediately once it reaches the right point. I also have a small bowl of ice water handy in case my fingers touch the caramel. This will stop my fingers from burning as well. Combine 2½ cups of sugar, a tablespoon of sea salt, and 2/3 cup of water. Give your saucepan a swirl to moisten all the sugar. Cover it. Bring this to a boil over high heat. Boil the sugar until it starts to turn a golden brown around the edges, about 5 to 7 minutes. Now, uncover the pan and continue cooking it. Give it a swirl every so often until all of the caramel turns a light golden, about 2 more minutes. Now, plunge the pan into the bowl of ice water to stop the cooking right away. Stick your first toothpick about 1 inch from the base, so you have about 1 inch exposed. Take one of your larger puffs and dip a whole side into the caramel and about 1/3 of the top. Careful with that dripping caramel, that's what's going to burn you. You really want to be careful. Transfer the puff onto the toothpick and secure it right onto the base. Now stick another toothpick in and try and nestle it close to the puff you just put on. Grab your next puff and push it up snug to the puff that you put down before. Again, another toothpick. As you work your way up, choose smaller and smaller puffs. When you feel the caramel trying to hold on to the puff, that's when it's time to start reheating it. So to reheat your caramel, you just want to put the pan back over low heat and swirl it till it liquefies. It should only take a few seconds. Be mindful of your color. It'll get a little darker each time you do this. Okay, we're ready. Back in the ice bath. You'll notice that as the caramel cools, you start pulling these threads. You're going to want to wind those threads around the cone and let them fall before you attach your puff. So now that I've completely covered my cone with puffs, you see I have a few left over. So we're going to cover those in caramel and place it on the platter around the croquembouche. Now that we've coated all of our puffs, you can see that our caramel is thick and dark. What you want to do is use a fork, dip it into the caramel. As you pull out the caramel, you can see it's forming these threads. You just want to go around and around the croquembouche, covering it in this sort of caramel thread halo. And that's it. You might think your croquembouche is too pretty to eat, but good thing we saved some of these little guys on the side. Mmm.